welcome to Diamond Delight Edibles. My name is Liz, if this is the first time you stopped by, and for the rest of you guys, welcome back. So last month or so I asked if I'd be interested in knowing how to make a shepherd's pie / cottage pie. Before all my UK fans get their knickers in a knot, I'll explain the difference. Shepherd's pie is made with lamb and lamb only. Well, lamb and vegetables and the potatoes, but it's lamb meat. Anything else, if you use beef, pork, or any combinations of meat, it is cottage pie, all right? So I probably will slip back into saying shepherd's pie. I do use a ground beef and pork combo. However, it is a cottage pie. All right, guys, did I get that right for you? But other than that, they're virtually the same thing. It's just the difference in the meat. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how to make this oh so yummy cottage pie. And check this out. Oh, that's a little hot. Check that out. Yum, yum, yum. All right, guys, so let's jump right into those ingredients and let's get this made. All right, so for our cottage pie, what I'm going to be using is about a half a pound of ground beef and a half a pound of ground pork. I like having the mixture of the two. I just find all ground beef too granular, too grainy type thing. So I find the pork is a really nice mixture of the meat for it. You're going to need 2 onions, medium-sized onions, 2 cloves of garlic. Now because I have some like colossal sized garlic, I'm just using 1, but normally it would be 2 size normal cloves of garlic. Salt and pepper to taste. And what I found is this Frank's Red Hot in a spice form, and it adds a really nice bite and flavor to the pie. If you can't find it, it's not a big deal, but it is a really nice added flavor if you can find it. You're going to need about 10 medium-sized potatoes, peeled and cut up and put into cold water. About 1.5 cups to 2 cups of mixed vegetables, usually corn, potato, and corn, carrots, and peas are the kind of the general, but whatever floats your boat, you can use. For our mashed potatoes, we're going to use about 1/2 cup of regular butter, and normally you would use about 1/4 cup of Cannabutter, but because I made my Cannabutter super strong and is very strong tasting, I'm only going to use 2 tablespoons. But as I said, normally if your butter's made normal, you would use about 1/4 cup of Cannabutter. We're going to use about 2 tablespoons of infused olive oil. Now you can do this so if you don't have infused olive oil, not a big deal, just stick with the Cannabutter for the mashed potatoes. This way we're just going to be adding some another level of dosing to our meat if you want. So about 1 tablespoon or 2 of infused olive oil, and then some additional olive oil for frying. And about 1 cup of milk. Again, we probably aren't going to use that much, but I just poured out 1 cup. We'll see exactly kind of how much we use. Again, with our mashed potatoes, it's a give and take. Some people like them stiffer, some people like them fluffier. So that's more of a to taste thing. And then what I like to do is to add about 2 tablespoons of powdered gravy, the brown gravy or beef gravy. And what this creates is a gravy inside your pie, which makes it again a nice flavor and a nice texture. And it's kind of creating a gravy holding everything together. But again, that's optional. You don't need to do it, but if you want that little extra added, give it a try. And that's pretty much for all our ingredients. Let's get into our equipment and let's get this made. All right, for our equipment, we're going to need this size pan. What are these, like an 11 by 9 or something? I don't know, the rectangular size one. A large pot for your potatoes. I've already started my potatoes boiling because they're going to take a little while. A large frying pan for your meat and your vegetables. A sharp knife for our onions and our garlic. Potato masher. And if you want to get fancy and make it pretty with the little rosettes, a large silicone or the material type piping bags with the large star tip. And a hand mixer if you want to make your potatoes really nice and fluffy. But if you don't have one, no big deal. You can just use the potato masher. But as I said, I like to use that because I'm going to whip them up really nice so that I can pipe them. that's pretty much for our equipment. I do recommend using spray, non-stick cooking spray in your pan. Makes cleanup a lot easier. But that's pretty much it, so let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to chop up our onions and our garlic. Now here's a trick for you. I know probably a lot of you won't believe me, but I swear to God it works. In order to avoid your eyes tearing up for onions, what you're going to do is we're going to leave the bearded end uncut. So we're just going to cut the tip end here, I don't know what part that's called. You're just going to cut that like so. Then I just put a little slice down there, down the side, and I just peel back the onion skin. I don't take it all the way off, I just peel it down to the beard. Some of it will come off, that's not a big deal, but any big pieces, just leave them on there, like so. And then you will find this will pretty much eliminate your tearing up or reduce it quite a bit. Sharp knives really make a big difference. So I'm just going to chop up my onion into small pieces. And see, very little tear. My eyes are a little bit irritated, but very, very little. There we go. Got that chopped up. Put that off to the side. Now for your garlic, with the thick skin on it, take your chef knife, put it down, flat, give her a squish, and the skin peels right off. Like so. Turning my potatoes down to medium there to let them finish simmering to cooking. Now when you're chopping, always keep your finger tips down. So putting your nails down, it acts as a guard. This way you will not take off the tips of your fingers. Kind of like I just almost did there. Had my little thumbstick in it, got in the way. And just get my garlic chopped up fine. Now some tips for your potatoes. Always cut them up and put them into cold water first. This will prevent them from brown or blackening up, as well as your potatoes are all going to cook evenly. So you start from cold water and bring that to a boil with your potatoes in it. The other thing is to use a larger pot than what you need and more water, because potatoes are so starchy and you don't want them to get pasty. If you ever done mashed potatoes and they've gone really pasty, that's part of the reason is not using a large enough pot with water, so it helps with the starch. So those are a couple tricks to help if you ever have problems with mashed potatoes. Alright, so the first thing we do, turn our heat on to medium-high, and we're going to let our pan warm up first. We're going to add in a little bit of oil, and we're going to saute up our onion and garlic. Alright, so my pan is heated up. You should always add your oil to a hot pan or a warm pan. So I'm going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of my infused olive oil. And then I'm just going to add a splash of a little bit of regular oil. Get a spatula. That's one of the things I forgot to tell you. Alright, so we're going to plop in our onions and our garlic. Now if it's really sizzly, turn it down because we only want to saute them and make them translucent. We don't want them to fry up. And we're going to add some salt. A little bit of salt and pepper. Salt and pepper always brings out all the natural flavors in your onions and garlic and pretty much most of your foods and cooking. You don't need a lot, but always adding a little bit helps bring out those flavors. So we're just going to saute our onions till they start to become a little bit translucent, just get them a little bit cleared. Okay, so when your onions and that kind of look like this, you can add in your meat. And just break that up. And if you're doing 2 meats, get your 2 meats mixed in together. Get your onion and your garlic all nicely mixed in to your meat, and keep moving it around. And we're gonna, once your meat gets broken up, you're gonna add in some salt. And again, your salt is to taste. So and some pepper. And I'm using, oh, not yet. I add that after, sorry. Never mind. So I'm just going to continue to cook my meat here until it browns up. You don't want to overcook it. Like I said, you just want to get it till it's just lightly browned up. And then we're going to finish adding in the rest of our stuff. Now when your meat's about 3/4 of the way done, this is where I like to add in the Frank's Red Hot. I said it's optional, but it does add a really nice bite to it. And I put a generous amount on. Again, if you don't like it too spicy, just put in a little bit. If you like a little bit more spicy, go for it. Pop her on. Get that mixed in. And now I'm going to add in our vegetables. So pretty much it's almost done. There's still a little bit of pink meat. This is what I add in the vegetables. So we don't want to overcook them. Let's get them mixed in. And if your meat's still a little pink, that's good. Don't worry about it because it'll cook in the oven. And don't forget, if you haven't already done it, don't forget to preheat your oven to 350. Now that we've got all that, I take the gravy, the powdered gravy, and I use about a half a package. Sprinkle that on. I said, so it's all that liquid there now, this will turn it into a gravy, which makes it really nice and tasty. And again, you just want to make sure to get that evenly mixed in. And once you do, you can kill your heat. So I'm just going to take that off the heat, let that cool a little bit. Okay, get your pan, give her a good spray down. Then you're just going to transfer your meat over to your pan. And just even her out. And I just got to wait for the taters. Alright, so my potatoes are done. You know your potatoes are done, use a fork, and they'll either, when you put the fork in, they'll break apart really easily, or it's going to come out of your potato really easily. That one, I actually might leave that for about another minute or two, so it shouldn't stick onto your fork. I think we're good. I think that was just one piece that was too big. So I'm just going to strain the potatoes and be right back. And it's a good idea to give your potatoes a quick rinse under the cold water just to take off the excess starch. Don't let them get too cold, just a little quick rinse. Alright, taters go back in the pot. And I use the potato masher first to start to break them up quickly. So just get them partially mashed here. It's a rough mash. And I'm going to add in our Cannabutter. And about a half a cup of regular butter. And I'm going to start with about a quarter cup of milk first. Get that started, and then I'm going to get the hand mixer. And I'm going to add in a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. And get our handy dandy mixer here. And let this puppy do all the work. And then just continue to whip them up until they're nice and light and there are no lumps. Unless you like lumps, then you can leave some lumps in. As again, mashed potatoes are one of those personal things. I personally hate lumps, so I like to make it nice and smooth. I'm just going to give them a taste. Use a little more salt. And just a little more butter. Oh, once you get your taters to the texture that you like, you can either let them cool to pipe them on, or you can just go ahead and just smear them on right now as so. And for those who don't want to get fancy, I've done 2 of them here, so I can do this. Just, I said, plop on your potatoes and just evenly move them around. And then you just put that in the oven at 350 until there's a light golden brown on top. Alright, so if you're doing them fancy, you want to wait till your mashed potatoes have cooled down enough to handle. Take your large piping bag, flip over the top there, about an inch and a half, And then you can scoop your taters in. Ooh. And then you're just gonna pipe them on. This is your guiding hand, this is your pressure hand. So this is what you push down with. You don't do pressure with both hands, just the top. So you're gonna make even little rosettes all the way across. It just makes it look a lot prettier when you're serving for dinner. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So now we're gonna, whoops, almost slid it right out of the pan there. So we are gonna pop this in the oven at 350 for about 25-30 minutes, or until nicely golden brown on top. And always in the middle rack. So we'll see you soon for the finished product. All right, ready to check this out? Looky, looky. Doesn't that look awesome? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this sit for 10 minutes just to let it settle, and then we'll cut into it and have a look-see, and I get to give a taste. All right, time to check this puppy out. Oh, check that out. There you go. Have a looky at that. Aren't you jealous? Ooh. All right, I get to check this out. Blow is hot. I've had enough injuries in the last few days. I don't need a burnt tongue. Oh, it's so good. Oh, so I really hope you guys give this recipe a try. It's really, really good, and I hope you enjoy it. And please let me know what little things you might add into your shepherd/cottage pie. Everybody's got their own little tips and tricks, and so I'd love to hear from you. And as always, if you have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to put them down. I do try to get to them as soon as I can. I'm sorry I do fall behind, and there are a lot of them, so I do apologize if I don't get to everybody's questions. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed this recipe as always, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks for joining.